Well, it's a deep subject, right?
Very much so.
The overnight hours look like deja vu all over again, to quote that famous baseball catcher Yogi Berra. Good.
I'm Kelly Knapp.
I'm Lee Barrows.
And what a night! What a night! We had
Was
a
it?
good time here.
Yes, we
Kelly,
did.
you went to sleep. I tried to several times in here. I didn't make it, but it was an interesting evening, and thanks to the callers, a lot of folks were calling us last night, and one in particular during the wee morning hours as we were winding down for the hour or so at the end, waiting for whoever to get 270 magic votes, and they finally came. 1:30 in the morning. It was about whatever. Interesting to note, we can always call Mr. Donald J. Trump now President-elect, much to the chagrin of a whole bunch of people out there, including some of our callers, our listeners around here, a couple. And but anyway, it is what it is, y'all. Get over it.
It got dramatic, didn't it?
It did. Did anything get burned down last night?
Not that I know of.
Didn't hear of anything. You went home about 2:00 in the morning from here.
Yes.
And did you see any?
I saw no one on the streets.
No one's on the streets. Nobody burning anything down. Nobody upset.
I got home at 2:13 a.m.
Okay. As last night wore on and on and on, with polls indicating that Donald Trump would lose and we would have the first woman president, not last night, back in 2016. I want y'all to think about that for a minute. I did last night because I followed this thing 8 years ago, exactly like I was last night. The countdown to the end started early, with Trump picking up electoral votes as the votes across the country were counted. He started out in the lead and maintained that lead until he passed the magic number of 270, and it happened within minutes of the same time that Trump became president-elect back in 2016, edging out the pollsters and the media favorite at that time, Hillary Clinton. This time around, another woman, another Democrat, another favorite of the media and the pollsters, going down in flames in the early morning hours. It became apparent about 1:30 when what was supposed to be a victory party and celebration for Kamala Harris started unraveling when her campaign manager took to the stage and said Harris would not be coming out or making a statement last night. Exactly, almost to the minute, what happened with Clinton in 2016.
How did her supporters there react to that?
They were like
packing up and leaving.
Oh, they weren't like booing or anything like that? Okay.
They didn't know. They maybe knew, but they did not know, as the Hillary people did not know back in 2016. I was watching both of them. That's amazing. This was a mirror of 2016, the way it broke out.
The news media outlets had it was stated that the campaign that Kamala's campaign staff had cut the volume over at where they were at their campaign headquarters, where they were getting ready to party.
So they could not hear what was going down.
And then the campaign chair came out and said, party's over. It was like, welcome to Walmart. Get your stuff and get out. It was.
Wow. Yeah, come on. She's not coming out. She's not going to make any statements tonight. So she will do it tomorrow when the results are in. Well, that's what Hillary's guy said 8 years ago. Exactly the same way at about the same time. It was between 1:30 and 2. And then all of a sudden, there come the words, and he said, guess what?
Yeah.
You lost.
Yeah.
Trump won 170. They somehow or another, they held that information until all of those words were put out.
Right.
The campaign had it early, just like Clinton's campaign had it early before.
Right.
They did not broadcast it. They did not let anybody know. Her party was over. And then at that time I was like, what's going on? Is it going to be this late? Do they have word that they're not going to get all the information in time to make this happen tonight? And then they came out after they said the party's done 8 years ago.
Right.
And they did the same thing this year. At the time they said that,
Right.
last night I said, because we were on the air last night, y'all, up until all of this was over. I said in here at that time, I said, it's done.
Mm-hmm.
They've got the word. They've got the advance information, just like Hillary did. And they see the handwriting on the wall. They got to get out of here while the getting's good.
Well, we knew before Pennsylvania even rolled in that it was done because there was no way she could have gotten enough votes to even tie.
No, that was over.
She needed to win Pennsylvania.
Had to win Pennsylvania.
Yes.
At that point in time, she had to have Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Because there were just not enough other electoral votes without Pennsylvania.
Right.
And then when Pennsylvania was given to Trump last night, 267 votes is what he had. He needed 3 more. And there were not enough others out there to be able to allow her to tie. I guess they could have if everybody had come in. She could have won, because if she got every, which we knew she couldn't, every other outside voted that time, because there are.
Right. Well, before the last one rolled in, he was at 267. So tie would be 269, 269. I don't think she could have done it.
No, well, it was done because the places,
we knew it was done then.
The places that were out, she was Trump was leading.
He was leading every one of them.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone. He was leading every one of those battleground states.
Yeah.
Amazing. It's a lot closer in North Carolina than I thought, but we got one person to blame for that.
Yeah.
The wannabe governor.
I read just a second ago, he's reassessing his political future.
Well, he just said, go find a job.
Oh, he's cooked his goose.
Yes, it's done.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
Well, we knew, like back before the primary, we already knew what was coming out and what was going to happen.
And he took some people with him, and that wasn't just making it real close for Trump. I think he cost some other people in North Carolina the election.
Oh, I do believe so too.
Because there were any number of them. You've got a bunch
Hal
of them.
Weatherman, and Hal would have been an excellent.
He should have led that one.
Excellent lieutenant governor.
But
Hal didn't win.
No,
with Mark Robinson and the excess
Rachel
package he had
Hunt
that came out.
Rachel Hunt, the one with the racist commercial, she won.
Oh.
Dan Bishop lost.
Mm-hmm. Folks that likely would have won if the Republican governor, or the guy running for a Republican for the governorship as Mark Robinson as a Republican, if he had won, he would have carried the state. Then other people would have won without a doubt, and Trump would have had the 53% that I was predicting.
And here's one that I predicted would lose: Michelle Morrill. She lost.
I'm very glad about that one. I'm just going to say that right now.
She wouldn't have lost.
Chad Brown lost.
What do you mean she would have lost?
She would not have lost if Mark Robinson.
I don't know. She was so extremist in her views. And I know a lot of Republicans, even here locally, who, even in the educational system, personally told me they would not support her because her views, especially against the EC community, were so extreme. She got what she deserved. That's all I'm going to say about her. Go ahead and call me a rhino, folks. Do it.
All of the speculation about all of the women turning out for Harris. How about that one? Didn't work out so well, did it?
No.
That's all we heard about for this past week.
Yep.
How many women are going to be voting for Harris? I mean, we've had women that are voting.
How people even know that?
For Harris. We know that. You know that. I know I don't know that.
No. And
it
turns out that it looked like that was a true statement.
All of the speculation about the African Americans and Latinos voting for Harris. Well, that didn't happen either.
Because this is where I say that the Democrat Party, mainly the media and the Hollywood elite, are so out of touch with society. People care about their food, they care about their security, and they care about their safety. Now, I know Hollywood could care less because they're not buying their own grocery, you know what I mean, with their millions. Okay. Mm-hmm. The media is just so out of touch. They want everybody to think that they know everything. But what they underestimated the American public. Some of the things that she was, and her lack of a true platform or what I'm going to do. But I think her main undoing was these last 4 years with the economy, with the border, with the policies. How are you going to say
She went along with Biden knowing he was failing.
Right.
And she denied it. She didn't deny. She lied to the American public.
In terms of what?
Biden's condition. He's doing fine.
Yeah, that's true.
He's fine.
Yeah.
And then it came out that no, he wasn't fine. And she was just waiting in the wings to take over.
Well, I will have to say last night I saw a Democrat news guy. I don't know. He's some political. I don't know what this guy is. I don't even know who he is. But he was saying one of the issues that he had with this was the way she was selected to be the candidate. He said we were misled by the Democrat Party. He said she was not picked by the Democrat voters to run for president.
That's what we've been saying all along.
And he said that is one reason why he said, I hope the Democrat Party will reshape itself, not pull that mess again, because people felt cheated.
That was a plan. Who we got?
Jennifer.
I think that was the plan a long time ago. So many of y'all disagree with me, but I told you before that the initial plan was to put her in office as quickly as they could. That would have been 2 years into the program. Mm-hmm. But then the Democrats found out she was not anything like she was sold to be.
Well, who sold this is my next question.
Well, look at when she was running in the primaries in 2020. She was doing very well, but then she dropped out suddenly. She dropped out suddenly because
they promised her something.
Yeah. Okay. They give her a guarantee. You'll be vice president, and in 2 years you'll be president. Okay. And then you can stay as president for 2 years, and then you can run again. That's all we need. We just need to get the House.
Well, if you think back to when she ran before, and was coming across, like you said, doing well with messaging, where did that messaging go? Because that person wasn't in this election. When she would speak, she bumbled around. She couldn't answer questions.
And then she refused to answer questions. Right. Refused to do interviews.
But where did that person go? What happened?
She got scared. Jennifer, don't go away. I got to do a couple of switches here. Don't go away.
So, I mean, that's what I want. I've often thought, where was she was way more confident when she first ran, even just in her public speaking, than this time around. Was it the gig's up? Like, I'm going to be found out?
Yep, she knew.
Oh, okay. Just curious.
Hello, Jennifer. How are you?
Well, good morning. It's a beautiful day. And I wanted to call for two main things.
Oh,
First of all, I want to give our full congratulations to Robin.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I know he's going to do a wonderful job. And then Theo. It was a long labor, but it's a boy, Theo. It's a boy. And,
oh, that was funny.
Theo, you have my sincere sympathies, my condolences to you, to Steve, to, all the rest of them. But this hillbilly tried to tell you, if I had seen the ultrasound, I knew it was going to be a boy. So, that's just how it is. Now we'll see if they actually let the man get in there. I believe if unless something changed that I hadn't seen, I think we got the House and Senate.
Yep.
So maybe.
Well, now let me just give you a word of warning. 8 years ago, the Republicans had the White House, the Senate, and the House. And they blew it. The first 2 years, they did absolutely nothing. Not a zero, zilch, zippo. All of the words that Donald Trump had campaigned on in 2016, he was not carrying through on. He couldn't.
Right.
For one reason or another, I don't know. And then by the time he got around to the point that he was putting into place the wall, took him a couple of years. But by that time, he had a House and a Senate that was not on his side. Remember that?
Right. I mean, he saw impeachment.
He screwed it up. He screwed it up big time.
Else, and so I'm a hoping that it's like a second marriage. You've learned your mistakes during the first one, and which I've only been married one time, so I've not made any mistakes.
You haven't made any mistakes? Okay, gotcha.
You like that, don't you?
Where's Terry? Can I talk to Terry for just a minute?
Well, you can, but he's going to tell you the same thing. He's laying right back there listening.
Yeah, well, good boy. Good boy, Terry. Good boy.
Get him up because we've got an early morning appointment.
All right. Well, but anyway, he messed it up. That's all I can tell you. It wasn't the Senate. It wasn't the House. He had the opportunity to unite and get that stuff going. Did you see? You weren't up, I'm sure, when he took the podium last night and took the stage last night, were you?
I stayed. I lasted all the way until they said, Fox News can project the 47th president will be Donald J. Trump.
Okay, then
and I told Terry, I was actually sitting in bed watching it.
Okay.
And I told Terry, I said, I'm just going to lay down. Because I could see that I knew they had already come out and said that Kamala wouldn't be, her surrogate, whoever had come out. And I told Terry, I said, I'm just going to lay my head down until he comes out. And I was stick a fork in me, fat girl was done.
Gotcha. Okay, well,
how was his speech?
I liked one of the first things he did is said we're going to unite and we're going to bring this country back together. It's been divided long enough. We're going to bring it back together, and that's kind of the direction it went. And he was very subdued, very thankful, very humbled last night. He was not himself.
Good.
Good. Can I put it that way? He was just not himself last night.
Good.
So that was interesting to watch. Now, if he will carry through with that, I will be a happy camper. If not, then you know what? He won't be president for 4 more years either way.
Right.
Now, here's what what are your concerns today?
My concerns, now, as I say, I am in East Tennessee. So, it's a little bit different. But I can tell you the only 2 people, and it's weird, and anybody can say what they want. I told you about the guy in the Dollar General.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Terry had a doctor's appointment. This is no lie, hand to God. I promise you, the nurse came. She came out. She called us. We went back there. She took Terry's temperature. It's just a regular follow-up, regular checkup. Took his blood pressure. And we said, and this woman started, well, how do you think I am? I'm obviously the only Democrat in this whole office full of Republicans. So just how do you think I'm doing? And she went on a literal, just on a tirade about it. And Terry and I, neither one was saying anything. Now, you would think by our silence that she would have got a little bit of a clue that we weren't on the same page as she was. And she just went on and on. And I thought, okay, now I've had 2 people go on this rant about this election, and both of them have been Democrats. And both of them just right out like they just picked somebody to go off on. I'm hoping that everything's all right today. But I don't, I said, we ride at dawn if I need to.
No.
I'll put my trash bag on and get Gertrude, and here we'll go. That's all I can. That's all I can.
Everything's going to be fine. You know,
I think it'll be all right. I really do. I'm hoping and praying. You know, we'll probably see some. I hate to use the word, but we'll probably see some fools out there. Other places, I don't foresee seeing any here.
I really don't think so, because it was such a close deal, and a lot of the folks out there, they saw the handwriting on the wall about 2 to 3, 4 weeks ago. There were a whole lot of people. Now, I remained. I was skeptical. I was very skeptical. I was fairly confident that Harris was probably going to be the next president, going to be the first woman president, up until about a week ago. And then I started adding, when I started doing math, I said, okay, this is 8 years ago. And about that same point in time, for those who were around and were paying attention, that's exactly the point in time that I started. Okay. And 2 days before the election, the Friday before the election in 2016, we started analyzing it closely on the Monday before the election. My partner in crime at the time, he and I went through the whole thing. He asked me the questions. He was had been a newspaper editor for a long, long time. And he started asking me the questions about what I thought here, and I explained it. And he says, I think we're on the same page, and I think we got Donald Trump as the president. And that's what we said then. That's the conclusion we came to.
The only thing that bothers me is all of the ones that have listened to this rhetoric that all of these billionaires, Oprah Winfrey ought to just set her down and give her a talking to. Her up there on a stage saying that if Donald Trump won the election, this would be the last election that anybody ever got to vote in. And them up there spewing that kind of crap, and that there's little naive people that's going to believe that.
Sure.
You know, and that's where I really hope that all of the adults can go into the room and say, all right, look, people, this is enough. We weren't running for president of the student body council. We're not in junior high school. This is president of the United States, and this is serious, and we are the laughing stock of the world.
Yeah.
So let's put all this aside and go back to the way our founding fathers intended.
Well, I think it all will be changing. I think. Well, first of all, as I said, Trump last night was humbled, and I believe he was. I think he was sincere.
I think he gave a good speech.
I have not seen him overly sincere ever, but he was sincere last night.
I have heard so many people, and we've watched a lot of news, but I have heard so many people say, I wish that during his rallies, people that say, I've met with him or I've done an interview with him or whatever, and he's not the same person that he is when he gets up there on those rallies. It's like the crowd just feeds into him.
Yeah, it becomes
he just kind of morphs into this other person, this big bully, and we're going to do this, and Kamala, you're fired, and all that. And everybody says he's such a different person. And truth of the matter is, if you do your research and go back enough years, all of them felt that way about him, because there's pictures of him hobnobbing with all of these people that have said that he was the devil incarnate. He was on Oprah, he was on The View, he was on all of these. They all just loved him to death until he switched tickets and ran.
Are you going to watch The View today, Jennifer?
I've never
seen it.
watched the View all the way.
I've seen so many people on
I have-
Facebook said they're watching it
I
today.
have saw this morning when I woke up, I checked my page, and so many people were saying they're going to just to watch these women quote implode on
Yes.
the set. I'm like, y'all
like
have fun with that.
like the View and
Yes.
Morning Joe and all them. But I know we'll see all the excerpts of them on Fox.
See,
Because
what I would
this,
like,
this afternoon, I'll be making wreaths. We'll have Fox on, and they'll give the highlights.
Right,
All of
right.
if I was a young production assistant on The View, what those people behind the scenes that you never see,
I'd be plugging it.
oh no, I would be in there, and I would be, because somebody has to set the set, right? Have
Right.
to take care of everything. I'd be putting a crying towel at every place and say, "Here's your crying towel.
Yeah,
Just forgive
yeah.
us, and then leave." Because I'd get
Yeah,
fired
well,
immediately.
I mean, it's all of these. I told Terry last night. I said all of these celebrity endorsements, millions of dollars. No,
Hollywood.
Jennifer Lopez up there crying.
Boo-hoo.
Whoever the crap Cardi B is actually read her speech off of her phone. Held her phone and read it.
Aw, poor baby.
George Clooney and Bruce, I wish I could sing Springsteen and all that kind of crap. And, he sounded horrible. I saw a little snippet of him on the TV, and I thought, oh, my Lord, somebody put him out of his misery.
Yeah.
Tell him he can't sing no more.
All right, Jennifer, we're going to have to go because we still got to get the things done here before.
Jennifer's on fire this morning. Jennifer's had her espresso.
We got plenty of days left.
Yep.
Yep.
We'll call back later.
All right. Thank
We
you.
got to go to an appointment. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you.
You
Bye
too.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Today's Marine Forecast brought to you by Community Prevention Services of Jacksonville. Why wait until an issue becomes a major problem? That's what Community Prevention Services is all about. Catch it and nip it in the bud, right? Whether it's an issue with stress or anxiety, regardless of what causes those issues, the team at Community Prevention Services is there to help you get back on track. In this military community that we live in, the stresses of the job can impact you and your family in ways that a lot of folks out there just cannot understand. But in reality, in every community across this country, there are other folks who have stresses of their own. It may be a little different, but they've got them too. From the emergency dispatcher, from a 911 dispatcher talking with the parent of a child that has just overdosed, to the law enforcement officer with gun in hand in the middle of the night, walking into a building where the burglar alarm has gone off, to the firefighter at EMS personnel, fire with people trapped inside. You can't measure that stress. It's out of sight. Stress that most of us will never have to face, thank God. But we face other stresses, each and every one of us, whether it's family related. I was talking with a gentleman yesterday, a good friend of ours. Y'all know him, but you don't know him personally. He's already had 28. I did not even know it. He has had 28 sessions of chemo since I last saw him a few months ago.
Oh, wow.
28 sessions.
Wow.
How do you measure that stress?
It's a lot of stress.
The counselors at Community Prevention Services, they know about stresses that so many of us face or have faced. For many, the stresses that they dealt with years or decades ago, perhaps subdued for a long time, those things lie in wait. They're like a time bomb. They can surface for no reason whatsoever, or they can be triggered by something. You never know what will trigger it. Added to the subdued stress are those around you who might not understand, and that adds to the stress when it surfaces. Time for a consultation? Yeah, it might be 910-353-0972. Make the appointment. Assistance is but a phone call away. Offshore today, winds out of the south, 5 to 10 knots, seas 4 to 5 feet, 5 foot waves from the southeast every 9 seconds. Sounds and rivers only a light chop. Tomorrow, southerly winds around 5 knots, seas only 3 to 5 feet. Sounds and rivers are going to be twiggy flat tomorrow. Friday, northeasterly winds 5 to 10, seas 3 to 4, sounds and rivers a light chop.
Today, partly sunny, a high of 82. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low of 65. Tomorrow, I was just looking at this because someone at the polls yesterday told me it was going to rain heavy. It's cloudy, high of 77 with a 40% chance of rain.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy, low of 62. And on Friday, partly sunny, a high of 77.
This isn't this. I mean,
It's like a roller coaster of temperatures.
I think we've got to. This is November.
Yeah.
Right.
There are skeeters out.
Yes, they
Well, I
were
had
biting
the
at the
doors
polls.
open.
Yeah.
I had the doors open last night in
Yeah.
here. It just felt good.
I got bit on the hand.
We were
Yeah.
listening to the ospreys coming in and the CH-53s circling around.
Going to land.
Well, sometimes it sounds that way. And but we were listening to that last night, and then it just felt good to have the doors open.
Yeah.
The cool thing was last night I didn't hear a siren go by. At nighttime, EMS is running up and down, headed over to Country Club Road, so they could head for the hospital.
Right.
From this neck of the woods, that's the route that they take. That's their access. But it wasn't happening last night. So I'm guessing that maybe a lot of people were staying at home. I just didn't hear the traffic out there on Piney Green Road. Maybe they were all watching the events unfold last night.
It was quiet out last night.
You know, I was thinking too last night, maybe a lot of people who voted for Trump, they just don't take kindly to being told how they should vote. We were blasted. People, of course, they kind of know how you ladies are going to vote. They don't know how I'm going to vote.
They don't know how I'm going to vote.
Well,
I mean, I didn't vote straight Republican.
In most cases, they know that you're going to be supporting Trump.
Says who?
Y'all have sort of made it clear that you couldn't support Kamala Harris.
No, but that don't mean I would have voted for him.
Okay.
I mean, people should not make assumptions.
They do. But they don't understand these folks who blast away accusing us of supporting a guy. One of our callers accused one of the previous callers. You voted for a man. You've supported a man that he's a crook. He's a crook. We heard that last night.
So did the popularity of the United States.
But why do you want to go off on another? I don't go off on people because they voted differently than me.
Nope.
I don't care. I'm
Not at
glad you
all.
voted.
That's what
I'm glad that
people voted.
Onslow County and North Carolina, I wish Onslow County a few more had voted. We had about 60% turnout. The state had 70 something.
Yeah.
And a lot of counties were 75, 78% turnout.
Yeah.
We didn't have that here, which is not that unusual. We did get 60,000. Was it 60,000? No, we had 60% of the registered voters here in Onslow County turned out.
Wasn't it 58,000? I think.
We had 59.52% of the ballots cast.
Yeah, but I mean, how many? What was the number?
Well,
number was
total number.
Onslow County. 80,438 out of 135,000.
That's really good.
80,000 is a very good number.
59.52.
Yes.
Which is just slightly above 2020.
So,
just slightly.
Yeah. But you know,
still
there's always 2 years from now. We
yes.
can look at it and maybe get even more people out here.
I-
Is the doctor in the house? Is there a doctor in the house?
Yeah.
There's a doctor that was a little tardy in the house. Sorry.
No, you weren't tardy. You just let me ramble on for a little bit more. That's all you were doing.
Very nice. I heard that congratulations to somebody in the office is in order.
Oh yeah. Her husband won.
Yeah. Very nice. Well, congratulations, Miss Kelly. It's nice
Thank
to
you.
hear that
Thank you.
good things continue to happen in your home.
I agree with that.
And your portion of North Carolina.
Kelly has been misled. Nobody knows how I voted. Nobody knows how I voted. Because
Then you know I voted for him. Yes.
I
100%.
you voted
Yep.
for your husband.
I absolutely did.
Okay.
I have complete confidence in him. Yes. Yes.
If you didn't, the rest of us would not.
Oh yeah, no, he's
So
a
that's the way
good guy.
that works. But anyway,
Very good guy.
Dr. Rosemary Stein, did you stay up and watch everything last night?
Oh, unfortunately for my state of alertness, yes, I did. I just wanted to see which way the country was going. So,
Well, we decided a couple of days ago that we were going to do a little test, and obviously Kelly was running around doing other things. So Lee and I decided for sure yesterday that we were going to go live last night at about the time the polls closed, because this is our show. We can do what we want to do now.
That's right.
That's right.
And nobody
I
owns
love it.
us. Nobody controls us but us. So we went live. I honestly thought that we would get through North Carolina and then I was going to rack out or go in there and watch it on TV like the normal people did. But instead, we were still going at 1:30 when the final stuff came in. And it was like, oh, you really got to be kidding me. Do you know what time 7 o'clock comes? About 15 minutes
7
away.
o'clock comes.
Mhm.
Yes, that's right.
Comes really early. So anyway,
It
so
did
it
this
was
one.
an interesting evening, and I cannot say I'm surprised because I sort of mathematically, and I revealed it, not over the air, but I revealed it to the other folks around here. What a good chance things were going to happen.
Well, that's true. I saw some states that shouldn't have gone red quite that quickly go red, and I said, this promises to be a very interesting evening.
It became a very interesting evening.
Yes.
So
things went at the beginning as expected. The correct states were turning blue and red, but there were a couple of surprises early on, like Ohio going red that soon.
Yeah.
That's usually one of the nail biters. And when it went red that soon, it probably was a marker of things to come.
And it was a heavy red too. That was at the end of the evening for Ohio. It was a very strong red for the president in the presidential race. That was surprised at that. I thought it had been a lot closer.
I thought it would be closer as well.
And in North Carolina, North Carolina would have been redder than it turned out to be. It was slightly pink last night, with squeezing by. A lot closer than I thought it would be.
I agree with that. I had my concerns, I think, early in the night. They must have counted Raleigh, Charlotte, and maybe Wilmington first. But then it was clear that the former president was going to be president again.
Yeah,
Right.
It became that way. So, what do you? You're going to give your? Do you have any? Do you know what your patients? Of course, your patients aren't registered to vote. They probably have no leanings one way or the other because they're too little. But their parents. Do you know how their parents are politically speaking?
I think they are more blue than they are red. Most of them are children of either first or second.
Okay.
And so they tend to be one theme voters. So that I think a lot of them would have voted blue if they could. Many of their families are not registered to vote. Let's say. So I think that I think overall that they didn't this election did not matter to them. There have been where it seemed to me that the two persons, the candidates, the one with the D was more charismatic and offered more, and this one, namely Vice President Harris, was not so. So that I think that there was not a lot of talk about elections. I tried to figure out, even within my staff, which way they were voting. They made it pretty clear that a lot of them were not going to vote, and those would have been maybe the ones that would have voted for Vice President Harris. So because of that, and looking at the lines the way they were in North Carolina, I was not really surprised at the outcome. It's still a nail biter, and you wonder where it's going to go. For us, it's a matter of the price of doing business. We've seen it soar. So we wondered if, we have to close our doors because inflation has brought everything up. And so, there's only so much you can put into your business from your home until you say, well, I can't continue to support my business if we don't have an income. And so hopefully the election results will keep our little pediatric clinic going alive, so that if Hannah wants, Hannah can have it.
Now you've been in the political arena yourself, so you understand what's going on there. Now, what do parents, when they send their kids to school, I think you probably learned that a lot of folks in North Carolina, in the educational field, they lean in a different direction than you do. Would you say that was a safe bet, that teachers tend to be a little bit different?
I would agree, especially within the public school system.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think that teachers are incentivized to see politics and our national leaders a certain way, so that their ideology for living is not quite their ideology for voting or for telling kids how they should think, because they act ideologically like conservatives, but they vote like Democrats. In North Carolina, I don't know if they realize that, or they are just not being honest with themselves.
How do parents? Okay, how would parents? The voters here in North Carolina have spoken. The majority of the voters were leaning towards the Republican side. How do parents talk with their kids when they're sending them off to a classroom where the teachers do have an influence on young'uns, and including the little kids that you have to see later on in your pediatric clinic? What do parents tell them? Because that teachers are going to have some conversations with the kids, and the teachers today might be in a bad mood.
I think that's going to happen to a large extent. I think that some teachers might not be too upset when you're putting gas in your vehicle, and it costs a lot more money to drive to and from school. It might not all be bad. That the person that your principal or somebody else at school is telling you that this is the way you need to vote. So I think it's going to be a mixed bag even at school. But when it comes to some ways of thinking ideologically that may not agree with what the home thinks, I think that the children should not be subjected to that, first of all.
They should not be.
But they also should be, But I think that they also should be aware that the parent, the teacher will not agree with them and say, you don't need to voice your opinion on anything. But I want to hear it from you. If the teacher says things like this, dumb people voted for the former president, because that's not acceptable, and that should be dealt with, and a complaint should be made. Yeah. But other than that, everybody's entitled to their opinion. It's just that it's their opinion. It shouldn't come out as something that's derogatory, and it shouldn't come out as something. Some people are dumb and some people are smart. Either way, I mean, we shouldn't hear anything about the state almost lost, or the state is now going to continue having a governor who is a Democrat because some stupid people or dumb people voted a certain way. That is not acceptable for a teacher to have to say, and we hope that most teachers stay away from that kind of language. But if that does happen, the children should know that that's not acceptable, and we don't talk about other people that way. And we have to deal with that if it happens.
I was in school a long time ago, but I remember one thing in a school. My history teacher, I had him for both world history one year and U.S. history the next year. So I taught both, but in 2 different years I had him. And I'll never forget the election process. And he said at that time, of which we hear today on a regular basis, if this particular guy happened to be Barry Goldwater at the time, as I recall. If he is elected, if he wins this election tonight, I'm not coming to work tomorrow.
That,
Well,
Well-
okay.
No,
and
that's
and
not
interesting
acceptable.
No.
because you're in the South. That was an interesting point of view.
Well, you know,
Back
well, the
then.
South at the time was very Democratic too, so it wasn't going to happen, and Goldwater didn't stand a chance. But I mean, to make that point, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you take the opportunity to teach both sides now? Okay, let's just suppose, folks, the cards are on the table that he's not going to win. But what if he does win? How should we act on that in that case? Because ain't everybody going to be happy, but we all still have to act. Y'all, a bunch of y'all are not happy right now that Donald Trump is elected
so
president. So how? But the teachers should bring this up. When you get home, how should you act? How should the teachers act? How should you feel? Are you scared to death because the Democrats have said for the last year that if Donald Trump is elected, it'll be the last free election we ever have? Or he's going to lock up all of his political enemies? Or he's going to shoot them? Or whatever else was said. Teachers have got to straighten some of that stuff out in the young minds that are out there. But I don't know whether they will do it or not.
I don't know that should necessarily be the teacher's responsibility. I think we have responsibilities at home to make sure that we address those things. But I think that what that shows, and you've told that story, I think, on at least one other occasion. And what it shows is that the teachers are too emotionally invested in one candidate over the other. And that does not need nor have a place in the classroom. If you see yourself emotionally invested that way, it's okay for you personally, but it's not okay as a teacher. And so they shouldn't even necessarily know how your political inclinations are, because you should be telling just the facts, ma'am.
Yep.
And I'm hoping that across the state, that's what most teachers have done. You tell the truth, and you let the kid's opinion be the kid's opinion, or the kid's opinion be what is held in the home. Yeah. But that is nonsense. I remember actually in 7th grade, quite the opposite happened, and Jimmy Carter was one of those presidents that only had one. He was elected for only one term, and he lost. Who was against him? Was it Ford again? And Jimmy Carter lost. I'm sorry. And I guess who came up after Jimmy Carter? I guess
there was a guy named Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, and that professor was very ecstatic to see that Jimmy Carter had lost and that Ronald Reagan had won. And it was interesting to see those dynamics played out. I didn't know whether to agree or disagree, but it may not be the place to show that kind of emotional involvement, one way or the other, to school. They're not your little buddies. They're the people that you impart your education to.
Okay. Dr. Rose, thank you as always. I mean, this is an opportunity for teachers and for doctors. I'd be curious as to whether you have to give some Valium to some of the your patients' parents today and tomorrow.
Your parents today.
Yeah. So give them some Dr. Feel-Good stuff.
Yeah, I thought I was going to need it last night.
I don't necessarily do that for the parents, but I think I might be dealing with a lot of grumpy people. Let's put it that way.
I'm sure you will be. So let them stay outside. You just deal with the kids.
That's right. And I'll hand them right back to them.
There you go. Dr. Rose, you have a good one.
Thank you, Dr. Rose.
Thank you. You guys have a great weekend.
You too.
You too. Okie dokie.
Imagine there's a lot of people needing Valium this morning.
Wonder where Peter is this morning.
He should be along any minute.
Yeah, Doctor. I always named Dr. Peter, right?
Dr. Peter.
But,
Wright.
well, he might be the doctor of Medicare.
Yes.
A lot of things are going on, and wow, yeah, it looks like I'll be making a personal change here. Robbie's kind of, I don't want to say she's stuck, but she's locked in. Her system is kind of locked in.
Right.
When the state tells you this is it, this is it.
Right.
You can do some changes, but I don't have to follow that plan. And it looks like Peter and I will be working out an arrangement here. And if it turns out that I don't have to stay with the plan, I can get out of the plan as a member of the family. I don't have to stay with it. I can change pretty much at any time.
What you want to do?
Yeah. And
Nothing wrong with that.
Peter's going to work on a plan that's going to actually pay me $100 a month to change.
Oh, really?
That's what he told me. I mean, that's what I dreamed anyway.
Oh, you might have dreamed that. Don't mean that's what he told you. Okay.
Well, that's what he meant to say.
Oh, that's what he meant to say.
That's what I
Okay.
recall.
Okay.
He meant to tell me that if I switch over, he will guarantee that company will pay me $100 a month just to switch over.
Okay. That'd be everybody's dream.
That's a nice dream.
Yeah.
Very well, thank you.
Because if he tells you he actually managed to do that, everybody's going to be calling Peter.
I know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, he'll be in a state of denial today. won't he?
Yes.
How you doing, Peter?
Very well, thank you.
Good.
And you?
Doing great. And, so it's a interesting time, politically speaking, but I don't think the political environment for the next year is going to have any impact on what we've got to get done Medicare wise for
now.
next year,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because
You're quite right.
once we do it this year, through the end of this year and whatever the first part of the next year is for some people, it's carved in stone, and the government's got nothing to do with it at that point in time, right?
Yeah, benefits change on a calendar year basis.
So they'll have to work on it for the following year.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
So if the administration chooses to do that, which I'm reasonably sure that will be either this coming year or the year after.
Yeah.
So, whatever. So we'll see how that goes over. But right now, what are people telling you?
Well, what are people telling me?
Yeah, they're coming in and what are their biggest concerns about the Medicare program? Because we know there are a lot of changes. So those Medicare customers that are coming to see you, what is their biggest concern?
Well, the ones that haven't lost their insurance for next year, which we've got one company which has left this area, Onslow, and also Craven County. They've pulled out of here. Apart from those ones, people coming in just to check what their coverage is, which is a wise thing to do, because there have been a lot of changes this year. But I am seeing, so talking to people, I'm seeing that the Blue Cross plans are very strong.
It's from what I'm kind of picking up on too.
Yeah, and my colleagues are telling me that as well. So I'm pretty certain that Blue Cross is going to see sales this year.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
So that means they'll bring the prices down, then, right? No, I guess
well, they've got good, robust plans, and I think they've done well. And the prices are reasonable compared to prices, the co-pays and the benefits are strong. So it's been good for them.
For those of us on Medicare, period. I mean, the Medicare plan's not going to go away. It's just what other we want to add on is what you're dealing with, right?
Yeah, so you're talking about Medicare A and B. That's obviously stays.
Yes.
We're looking at talking about Advantage plans, right?
The extras.
Yes. Yeah.
So the advantages that we have for other stuff, and sometimes that extra premium might be zero.
Yes. Yes.
What determines what the premium is going to be that extra that we would have to pay, if any?
Depends on the plan that you choose. So, as I've said, it's important for people to bring, if they come to see me, to bring your medications along and your list of doctors, because we look and see what your costs will be with medications. And there are quite a lot of tweaks we can do there. You know, you can do generic or brand name drugs, and then we can find ones that, you know, you can speak to your doctor about different ones if they're not on the formulary, things like that. So look at that and look at your doctors that are in the network, and then pick a plan according to that. And so then we look at what the costs and the benefits are.
So if I go to my doctor though, and let's just go. So I've got a cardiologist, of course. So I go to my cardiologist and I say, listen up, this plan, the drugs that I'm on that you've prescribed for me, can't you get me these other drugs that they cost me less, they cost me nothing? One of the,
Yes, you can do that.
But he's going to look at me and say, well, what's your life worth?
But you can also see if you, and I can't promise it, but you can also find out if you can get a formulary exception, so that you can have a drug that's not covered under a certain tier, or not sorry, that would be a tier exception. A formulary exception, if it's not on the drug plan, perhaps it will be covered by the company.
That it would be covered.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that,
all right. So, well, we got some things that we can talk about there, at least with the doctors in a sort of an educated way, I hope. Can you go along with me to see the doctor?
And hold your hand. Sure.
There you go. Why not? All right. Let's talk about you. This week, you're up to 5 days a week again at Walmart, right?
Well, I'd say it's 4.5. It's Monday through Thursday, 10 till 6, basically, with a half hour off for lunch when I squeeze it in somewhere in that time. And then Friday will be 10 till 1:30 because I've got, I'm getting together with my son's in-laws on, no, it's going to be a good party.
That's just this week, though, right?
Yes, that's this week.
Just this week. Okay.
But next week, Walmart has just asked us not to come in on Fridays, if possible.
Really?
Yes. So I was going to say yes, I'm full time, but
oh wow!
But it'll be Monday through Thursday, from 10 till 6, with a half hour off for lunch, which should be around 1:30 till 2. Okay. It depends when I'm talking to people.
So you're from now on, after this week, you're going to be Walmart Monday through Thursday.
Next week will be Monday through Thursday. Weeks after that, apart from Thanksgiving, will be Monday through Friday. So I'm trying to do as many weekdays as I can in Walmart. So it will be. Apart from next week when we're not to be there, it'll be Monday through Friday, except on the Thanksgiving, which is I think
that's the
28th, somewhere in there. 29th.
You won't be there then?
They kick us out the store because of.
That's for their own safety. What are you talking about?
You might need some extra Medicare on that day. Maybe you can get a blue light special or something. Okay. We do have a caller. Good morning. Who's this?
Hi, this is Charlie calling.
Hey, Charlie.
Okay. First of all, Charlie, we've got a guest in the studio, and he's our Medicare expert. Do you have a question for him about that?
Honestly, no. Can you put it on hold and come
Give us like 20 minutes.
Give us a call back about 8:25 or something like that. How's that?
Yeah.
I'll call you back.
Okay. Thanks. Bye.
Okay. I had a feeling that was it. We're gonna stay on topic here because there's a lot that we need to cover. So we know when you're going to be there for this month. People are coming in. Are they? Are you're able to help them? A lot of people you're good to go with. Are they happy?
Yeah, up till now, it's been a lot of existing customers.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's starting to change now. Yeah, I've seen a large number of existing customers. It's taken longer this time because of, I've had more of them because of the big changes,
right.
and with, Aetna leaving the market here.
Sure.
That's meant that a lot of people have had to change their plans.
I'm just a little surprised about that. Why does a company like Aetna leave a market like Onslow and Craven? What is kind of reasons do they have? It's not worthwhile, or they don't have enough customers, or what?
I think you've just answered it with those two comments. I don't have insight into it, but I would imagine that.
Well,
I would think that it's it
don't-
was a stretch to come here because it's taken so long to get good companies here, and then when they came, the costs are just too high for them. I think
Really?
the benefits were very rich in those plans, and I think that they've had to pull back out of here because of that.
Well, amazing. That's I would have thought that when you're, it's like I understand with advertising for radio and TV and newspapers.
Yeah.
People tend to, oh, business is great. We got all these people coming in, and we go buy advertising.
Mm-hmm.
When business is down, when they need advertising, they cut back on advertising. Their logic doesn't make any sense. So I'm thinking about a business like Aetna. When business is down, why don't you do a push to get more business? Doesn't that make sense to you?
Well, I think there's been with these, it makes sense, but there's some other factors in.
I'm sure they got something.
And if say your company isn't as profitable as you want it to do, then you've got to make some. You try to, work on your best areas, and you won't concentrate on so much. Perhaps.
Okay. Blue Cross Blue Shield. You guys, it's looking really good in this area.
Yeah.
We have folks around here, obviously military type and veterans, people who are retired.
Yeah.
And they got TRICARE and they got other things, but VA work, TRICARE and Blue Cross Blue Shield. How does that gel together?
Well, up till this year, I don't think I've ever helped somebody with a Blue Cross plan that's got either VA or TRICARE before. But this year, because of the benefits, I've gone through what's available from the other companies. And I've had several people actually choose a Blue Cross plan, both with VA and also with TRICARE. And TRICARE surprised me because you've got to be you're putting yourself into the Blue Cross network, and you're probably not going to travel out of the state if you're picking that plan. But the Blue Cross network is very large. You've got 95% of all providers in the state, and all the facilities are in the Blue Cross network. So you've got a pretty good bet there. Yeah.
Well, Blue Cross does offer some cool, what I call incentives. I don't know, So they do that.
Yeah, things like having someone come to the home to help with cleaning, or helping you with if you've had an operation and you need somebody to be there to keep an eye on you while you're recovering. If you're single, for instance, things like that. So that and safety devices for the home and an emergency button. No other company around here has got an emergency button any longer that you can wear around your neck at no cost to you. That's pretty good for some people. You've got the transportation and a very good gym membership package this year.
Now that emergency button or other things similar to that, I've kind of stopped most of the people with the insurance plans that I've on from calling me. We understand you may have a back problem. We can offer you a back brace at no cost to you, no extra cost to you. Does that sound good to you?
A back brace?
Or whatever.
Okay, I was going to say.
We understand you got some kind of a back problem. Wouldn't you like to be treated for that at no cost, no extra cost to you? We can send you an instrument for this thing or that thing at no extra cost to you. Somebody's going to pay for it. My insurance company will end up paying for it, right?
It depends on what the offer is that they're trying to do. Maybe they're trying to get you sell you something and then get you to buy something more, even bigger. I don't know.
Yeah,
It could be a loss leader.
I'm not diabetic, but I've had people offering me needles and diabetic medications and all sorts of good stuff. We can hook you up with this. Do you have shoulder pain? Do you have back pain? Yeah, I do.
Oh,
I got a pain in the backside
I
too
think
because people calling me like you. And for that, but no, seriously, are these just scams? If they are initiating calls for something that I don't have, and if I do have it, how do they know I have it?
Well, if someone's calling you up and talking to you about Advantage plans, that's illegal anyway, without your permission.
Yeah, not plans. They just want to send me these devices, and my insurance will cover it. They say.
Okay. Well, I haven't heard one of those calls, but I'm sure it's I don't. Excuse me. I don't get many calls like that, fortunately. But I'm not saying you don't get them, but I'm sure that's happening.
Well, you said that they're not supposed to call. My brother's actually had a couple of calls about the Advantage plan. I said, don't answer the phone if you don't know who is calling you.
I have a lady in supply who gets called all the time from people from one of the companies, and she somehow or other each year she changes her plan to what they suggest, and then she phones me up and says she's made a mistake, and we have to
say stop doing that. Yeah.
And this year so far, and she hasn't changed, so it's been good.
Well, if they call and want you to change, maybe she should just refer them to you.
Yeah.
I imagine you could have some interesting conversation.
Well, they're just saying to her, well, just say yes. If you just say yes over the phone, we can carry on. You just have to say yes. And so she just keeps quiet.
Yeah. Are you satisfied with your insurance plan? Yes. Well, then you've just said yes, and that's what they've got you done recorded.
Once they start you on a yes slope, then it's easier for you to say yes after that. That's what I think the thing behind it.
I just now, when the phone rings and I know it's them, I just pick up the phone and start yelling, "Stop calling me!" and I hang up.
Well, I'm
so tired.
I'm a little more vocal than that.
I'm so tired.
I'm a little more direct.
You need to start when you know it's them, Lee. Answer your phone like some kind of like porn star with some kind of real sexy message and see if it throws them off.
I won't try that.
Yeah, try
Hi,
it.
how are you doing?
No, because then they're getting credit for the phone call.
Oh, that's true too. Okay, yeah, I didn't think about that.
I just
good
know
point.
today we're going to have 25 less texts on our phone.
Either that or
And emails. My email, I've got like 10,000 emails on here. I got to go through and take off, and about 9,000 of them are political things. I'm like, how do you get my email address? Am I on a list?
You're registered somewhere.
No, I don't think by my email.
Probably.
Usually when you fill out your voter registration, you put your email on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I filled mine out so long ago.
I've been using yours a lot.
You better stop. You stop that right now. I had somebody at the polls yesterday say that they pranked a family member by doing that. That family member is ticked. Yes.
Wow.
That's falsification, isn't it?
Yeah.
I do not have in this list up here, the first 25. I do not have an email from anybody soliciting funds for this candidate or that.
You mean for today?
For today.
I haven't.
I just wondered if we're
yet.
going to get thank you texts now for the aggravation they have put us through for the last 30 days.
Oh, they won't thank me for anything. Trust me. Well, that's on 2 pages. 50 emails. The last 50 emails. Nobody has asked me for money for their candidate.
I'm just grateful Ted Cruz quit asking.
I'm glad they all quit asking. Yeah, that's wonderful. Okay, well, let's see. What else we got here cooking?
Did we talk
There
about
was something you said we should talk about last week, and I couldn't remember what it was. There was one topic you wanted to cover.
I'm brain dead after yesterday.
Well,
Yeah.
while Rafe was pondering that, talking about these hospital indemnity plans. Geez, that's like a mouthful. Tell me about that. I think I got one from Mom, if I remember correctly, but you last year. Okay, so again, refresh my memory what this does.
Well, a hospital indemnity plan is a plan you can marry, call it marry to an Advantage plan.
Okay.
And it covers you it covers your co-pays or helps pay for your co-pays if you go into a hospital or a skilled nursing facility or let me turn to the page as well.
Okay.
So emergencies, surgeries. So if you need to have a surgery,
Right.
you can get paid for that. So get money for that. So for instance, I had a colonoscopy this year and they had to cut 2 polyps out. So I on my hospital indemnity plan, I had a $250 payment. You can make it larger than that. And so they're paying me about $250 for that.
Oh, okay.
They paid you to let you get cut on.
I
I pay about $55 every month, and it covers me for the, if I go into hospital, it'll pay the copay for that. It covers me for surgeries if I have one. It covers me for if I go to the emergency room. Covers me if I need physical therapy. This year I had 13 sessions. So
it pays for the therapy or just gives you money?
It pays me. So my physical therapy was actually $10 a session, but I was getting $50 per session
I see what you're
from
saying.
the hospital indemnity plan. So every time I was going there, it was like I was being paid $40.
So you were going there 4 times
you
a
get
day.
paid $40 to go.
That's very good.
That's an incentive.
That's a stressor. I mean, they work your butt right there.
I know that.
Like,
I had knee
That's-
surgery,
yeah.
remember?
that's like not
Now,
playtime.
if you're if we don't sign up for this indemnity plan, the hospital indemnity part here,
You have
does
to pay.
insurance not cover me to go to the hospital to get surgicalized?
It covers you, but for instance, with the most popular Blue Cross plan, if you go into hospital, it's $400 per day copay for the first 1 to 5 days.
Mhm.
So if that would put you, in a bit of a situation, then what you can do is pay a little bit each month, and it gives you peace of mind that but you can afford a hospital. And if you are in a hospital, you don't have to think, I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out of here because I can't afford it. Because I've had that happen to clients. And I've had it happen to me where I was sledging and I broke my back. I was going down a slope, a 5-inch rock that was sticking up.
Don't you know better?
And I do know.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it really hurt, but I didn't realize, and I was winded and bruised all over my body, but I didn't realize I had the T11 vertebrae had done a pancake fracture, and so I'd lost 1/3 of an inch in height in an instant.
Oh my Lord.
And so I got my son to go and get my wife, and they dragged me up the slope and put me into the car.
They dragged
on my
you up
hands
the
and
slope?
knees.
Well, that's right. Really good.
Yeah,
That probably added
was
to the
struggling.
pain. Yeah.
I was in a lot of pain.
You were afterwards, after they dragged you up the slope.
And
anyway.
they took me to the hospital, and they told me you could be in a wheelchair.
Did they strap you to the hood of the car when they took you to the hospital?
Yeah.
I was just on my hands and my knees.
That
in a
sounds
lot of
painful.
pain.
That makes my back hurt.
Yeah.
It was like getting a sledgehammer up your backside, basically. It was horrible.
Oh no, well, wasn't like that. So this indemnity plan will pay for your $400 a day. And according to this, it will pay for your $500 ambulance ride, because I know that's roughly the cost.
It'd be about $300 on an Advantage plan.
Well, that'll save you some money.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, what it does is it means that if I mess myself up on the snow again, like that, I would just wait for an ambulance. I wouldn't worry about the cost of an ambulance, because I had paid for an ambulance 7 years before, and I just didn't want to do it.
That's a good plan. Okay, I think everybody should have this.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Well,
It's well worth it.
What it does is it enables you to have peace of mind on the fact that you know that you can afford it if it happens. But I think the better thing is that if something does happen, it stops you from doing silly mistakes, like getting yourself out of hospital too soon, or getting not taking an ambulance when you should, or things like that.
Well,
So it's 2 ways already.
So let's say the monthly payment for this plan is, I don't know, I'm gonna throw a number out there, $50. Okay.
Yep.
For some people may be trying to say themselves, well, I don't want to pay $50 a month. And to that I say, you will go to the steakhouse and one meal and pay almost $50.
Oh, you can pay more than $50.
Yeah. So if you will pay $50 at the steakhouse for one meal or twice at this point, why would you not pay once a month for something that will save you potentially thousands of dollars? Why would you not?
Yeah, and you don't actually even have to pay the $50 or $55 a month. You can make it less. So it's just, I put all the bells and whistles in here. You can just cover the hospital.
Want them all.
But for me, I wanted it all because I had that experience.
Heck yeah.
Put that down on the list to talk about when I talk to you.
Yeah, so he wants to talk about that too. Yeah.
So
I agree. I think everybody should have this. When I start doing, I got 10 years to try to do these kind of plans. I'm definitely getting that one. Just saying.
So you're 55.
I am 55.
Mm-hmm. Double nickels.
So actually, I got 9 years because don't they start letting you know at like 64, preparing you, and then
they start letting you know immediately.
Okay.
Yep.
Just to get you ready. Yeah.
You can actually get one of these plans before you turn 65. It's just that from a period of 64 and a half years to just the day before you turn 70 with the one company that I help people with, and other companies have different periods. You can get a plan without any without having to answer medical questions. And because we're in North Carolina as well, there's no waiting period for pre-existing conditions either. So you can really have good coverage from by getting one of these.
I want one of these.
With immediate effect.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and sign her up. She's ready.
I'm ready. I'm doing it now. I mean, it might be one steak dinner I don't have, but so what?
There goes DoorDash. You're trying to run DoorDash out of business.
I'll be all right. Just one day a week I want DoorDash. Yeah. Yep. I was trying to figure out how to DoorDash to the polls yesterday.
Peter, now I've asked the question before, and I just want people to understand because I've been asked this by two other people. I think 2 or 3 weeks ago I asked you the question. When I switch over to whatever, right now I don't ever see what comes out of my Social Security. When it comes in, I don't know what's coming out of it. Don't care. I just I just don't know. So I don't care. Do I have to write a separate check if I go with another company, or do they just take it out of the Social Security benefits automatically?
If you're talking about the hospital indemnity plan,
any of the stuff.
Oh, so with an Advantage plan, it's your choice if you want a bill, or I think you can also get it drafted from your account. But most people, I'd say 99% of people, 99.5% of people probably.
If I don't see it.
But with a hospital indemnity plan, get it taken out of your bank account. It's drafted. A hospital indemnity plan is drafted from your bank account. That's what I'd recommend. You could probably do it by a bill, but then if something happens to you and you don't pay it, it could lapse. So I always think it's better to set things up automatically, especially as we get older. And
long as they take it out of the same day that the check comes in.
Well, you can choose what the day you want it to be taken out.
Okay. Well, those are some of the questions that folks are asking. And this indemnity plan will cost up to about $50.
No, it depends on your age. I'm
old.
So it could be around $55 when you first turn 65. If you're older than that, it'll be a little bit more.
No.
So probably if you're 70, it may be 60, 63, somewhere around there. It may be a little bit less. It depends what coverage we're looking at. Because each of these, you can pick the amount of coverage you want for. For instance, you can pick in $10 increments how much coverage you need for the hospital. So you can have $340, $380, $390, $400 per day for days 1 through 5. Depends what your plan is. Some plans have different amounts.
Okay. Peter, as always, thank you. I hope
Very
I
informative.
hope we're enlightening people. If not, we're causing them to have enough questions. They need to see you. They can see you today beginning at 10 o'clock
Yes.
over at Walmart on North Marine Boulevard near Western Boulevard and right behind the Golden Corral. How's that?
Yes.
Go by, have lunch. By the way, if you're of the right age, that means like me, old, Monday through Friday, you get a percentage off. You get a big chunk of that meal off on Monday through Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And it's between 1 and 3, I think it is. Not that I'm advertising for them. I'm just trying to help y'all out. Because what I do is I go during that time, my wife and I do, we'll get enough. We'll eat enough. You can't take it with you, but we'll eat enough. We don't need anything but a snack for dinner. Go at the last minute. Sneaky
You might
ways
have
old
to
people.
go by there and get
Sneaky
breakfast.
way old people do things.
I might have to go get breakfast. I'm hungry.
I'm hungry. I haven't had breakfast yet. So.
Yeah. Well,
I think I'm hungry because I've had no sleep.
that's it.
That's what it is. Yeah. Leland's tired.
Well, and we didn't have a chance to sit around and snack all night last night.
No,
we
we
had to
didn't.
talk
We stayed.
So you were up till late, were you on this?
right in
On
here
the
talking
air.
away.
We were on
Wow.
the air
Lee and I
by
were up
quarter
until
to 2.
quarter
10
to 2
minutes
when we
to
signed off.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. What time did you sign on again this morning?
7 o'clock.
Mhm.
Yeah.
May have been earlier. I don't know.
Of course, when I got home, same with Rayford. I mean, we had to stay up and watch.
Oh yeah,
Trump's
yeah. We
speech,
stayed
so
up.
Yeah.
I did. You know, my
It
wife and I.
was.
My wife, who never stays up that late, she stayed up and watched it. In fact, when Trump got finished, sort of, I went to bed sooner than she did.
I think I went to bed about 3:30, quarter to 4.
I have no
Oh,
idea
my
what
Lord.
time
Oh,
No,
wow.
I'd be tired
Okay.
today.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I slept really well last night, so
Well, good. Glad one
I
of us
needed
did.
to. Yeah.
Same.
All right, Peter. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you next
Yeah.
week.
Thanks. Cheers.
Cheers. All right, we got a lot more to talk about here, and we got some callers coming in. We'll check out the weather real quick. Let me tell Peter something real quick. And for you guys who want to see Peter, or if you want to call him first, you can do that at 252-675-4488. That's 252-675-4488. And Lee?
Or you can contact him at his website, foxplans.com.
I just wanted to hear her say it.
I know. She likes to say it.
She does.
She
like
does.
Rayford started it.
FoxPlans.com.
Bye, Peter.
Anyway, and he's headed for Walmart. He'll be there at about 10 o'clock this morning, and so get on by if you want to see him.
I'm gonna
I would
tell
go
you.
early. I would be one of the first people there, and that way you don't have to just keep going back and forth.
Wait,
and
it's
back and
his
forth.
glasses. He'll be back.
You might want to you want me to run them out there to him?
Somebody better tell him. You get lost. Get lost on the way. Okay. Scroll way back up here on this stuff. The marine forecast today brought to you by Community Prevention Services of Jacksonville. Why wait until an issue becomes a major problem? That's, an ounce of prevention is worth the pound of cure. You've got
Correct.
prevention in your name. Community Prevention Services. Get 1 ounce of it. You'll save
Ounce of
yourself. You'll
prevention
save yourself a
It's
lot
a
of
pound of
problems.
cure.
Yep. Whether it's an issue with stress or anxiety, which a bunch of people have, we all have it to a certain degree at some point in time. Regardless of what causes those issues, the team at Community Prevention Services is there to help you get back on track. They want you to be well. In this military community, we know we all have dealt with friends. We may be some of those people. We may be a returning veteran, a returning military member, coming back from a stressful situation for the last 6 months or a year or
Right.
more. We know what kind of stresses they go through. It impacts the family as well. It's not just a you thing, it's a y'all thing. And he may need your help for the whole family. Do you do any family plans when something like this happens? Do you often see more than just the person that's perhaps affected?
We have done that, yes. Mhm.
Because it becomes a family issue, right?
They're usually very specific incidents, but yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Outside this community, there are other communities. Folks there have stress issues of their own. Emergency dispatchers talking with the parent of a child that's overdosed, a cop walking into a darkened place and because the burglar alarm's going off, not knowing what he's going to get into. The firefighters, the EMS personnel, knowing people are trapped inside a burning fire or possibly trapped inside a burning building. They don't even know for a fact that they're there, but they go in to look just to be sure.
Yeah.
That's stressful. They're putting themselves in
Absolutely.
harm's way right up front.
Yeah.
And some other folks, we don't talk about that often. These people, when that EMS unit rolls into the ER, somebody's not breathing, they're blue. They may be on oxygen. They may be being CPR, maybe in right in progress as the EMS unit pulls in. And then there's the ER staff.
Mm-hmm.
They got somebody that's dying.
Yeah.
And they're going to try their ever less best to bring them up, get them going. That's stressful.
Yeah.
The counselors at Community Prevention Services, they know about the stresses that so many of us face or have faced in the past. Now, those who have faced it in the past may not be facing the same stressors today. But those stresses can make themselves known. They can be triggered, or they can just pop up for absolutely no reason.
Right.
It may be walking down the street and you could just a flashback time, or you see something. You watch a movie on TV. You see things that like, oh my God, I was doing things like that.
Actually, people have said they have been triggered by something. Yeah, either triggered a memory or it triggered a response in something that they thought they had handled.
A car backfiring when I'm outside.
I see a lot of that with a lot of veterans that come in, active duty and retired or just a veteran, have been in overseas wars or whatever. Car backfirings, fireworks are very triggering.
Yes.
Maybe
it's time for a consultation.
Yeah.
910. Do not feel there's no stigma attached to this. It happens to everybody. The worst thing is not to go see somebody, not to talk it through.
Right.
Not to get some help. Call them over at Community Prevention Services at 910-353-0972, 910-353-0972. Make that appointment. Assistance is but a phone call away. Offshore today, winds out of the south 5 to 10, seas 4 to 5, 5-foot waves from the southeast every 9 seconds. They're far apart. They got a little chop to them, but they're far apart. Not a bad thing. Sounds and rivers a light chop tomorrow. Winds out of the south again, around 5 knots coming down. Seas 3 to 5. Sounds and rivers are flat tomorrow. Friday, northeasterly winds 5 to 10. Seas 3 to 4. Sounds and rivers a light chop.
Today, partly sunny. Looks kind of sunny to me. High of 82. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low of 65. Tomorrow, cloudy, high of 77 with, as it stands now, a 40% chance of rain. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy, low of 62. And on Friday, once again, we're back to partly sunny, a high of 77.
Yeah, it's a 40% chance of rain.
Yeah.
Negative Nelly here. So I'm going to be the good guy. 60% chance it ain't.
Well, this lady at the polls yesterday acted like it was 99% chance of rain on Friday. I was like, lady, I didn't even heard anything about rain.
And looking at the local, and of course, I know we go by national.
Yeah.
They're showing 55%
Well,
tomorrow.
she was like, it's like 99%. But
And then rain again Monday.
That's too far away to predict.
Monday's
Today's
Veterans
Wednesday.
Day. Well, it looks like Saturday for the Veterans Day parade here. It's going to be
That's the
sunny.
nice.
Yeah.
And warm.
Yeah. Well, the high Saturday is
Right.
72, but in the morning, I mean, it might be slightly chilly, but not cold.
Yeah, just wear a light jacket. Windbreaker,
Yeah, and you can
you're
take
good
it
to go.
off. Yeah, definitely take something. Wear something you could take off. So
Is that Mr. Causey?
no,
62. No, I don't know.
It's Robin, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's Robin.
Good morning.
Call back in a minute or make it fast.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Hello.
We're fine. How are you? Congratulations again.
Good. Well, I appreciate that. I just wanted to call real quick and thank all the supporters out there that casted their vote for me, and I appreciate the support for both of you again. And another 4 years, and we're going to try to do the best we can for Collinsville County. But I really want to thank one particular person. Is my wife. She's sitting there in the studio. She put everything together. She ran the campaign. She got our signs up. She kept me focused, kept me between the ditches, so to speak. And I really appreciate what she did.
Well, that's good.
And how much support her and my family gave me during this time. And it meant a lot to me. So I just want to publicly thank her.
It takes a support staff.
It does.
For sure.
But again, to all my supporters out there, thank you.
You're welcome.
And I promise to do the very best that I possibly can as a commissioner. And we're going to roll it back one more time and
get her
go
done.
from there and get her done.
Thank you,
But
sir.
thank you, guys.
Have a good one.
Thanks,
Bye.
Robin. Bye.
All right.
Well, I'll say something real quick. I'm
Okay, go
very
ahead.
pleased about.
What's that?
Gascon got beat. My friends in LA are very excited.
I'm
And I
jealous.
mean, he got beat bad. I mean, this
That's
wasn't
good.
this wasn't even like bad.
This was
like
in the
a couple of
cards.
points.
This was,
Oh, he brought this
is-
on himself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I
He
mean,
deserves everything that he got.
He absolutely does. I'm so excited about this.
All right, weather-wise, we don't have a lot to worry about from it at this point in time. Hurricane
Oh, I forgot
Raphael.
about that. Oh, what's his name? Raphael?
Raphael.
Oh, it's my business partner's name.
And
Okay.
well, you blame him.
I will blame him.
It's
Yeah.
got winds this morning of about 100 miles per hour sustained. It's moving towards the northwest at around 14 miles per hour. It has speeded up. It's going to be crossing the western end of Cuba shortly and continue towards the northwest for a little while. Then it's going to turn westward for just a short period of time and then going to turn when it's due south of Louisiana. And then it will start losing some strength when it turns northward. It will start moving towards Louisiana.
Okay, so I'm visualizing. Okay, so
Okay.
it's just going to kind of meander a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to wiggle and wobble.
And then is it
stuff.
going to like dissipate or?
It's going going to come ashore likely somewhere in Louisiana as a tropical storm.
Okay, well, that's better than a hurricane.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
1 mile per hour better.
Oh,
74,
that's true.
74
Yeah.
miles
That's
per
true.
hour
Good
is a
point,
tropical
yeah.
storm. 75 is a hurricane.
Yeah, that's true. Good
Or
point.
whatever
good
the
point.
numbers
Yeah.
are. It's close.
Wow.
Strong tropical storm can be really as damaging as a weak hurricane.
I agree. And when was the last time we've had one this in the middle of November? Can you remember? I don't remember.
know.
And this is a question.
It's been a while.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I can't think anything pops into my head. Wait, well, I'm looking at your thing. Why is there an X right there?
There's another X over here.
I
and
just see your computer
this
up
one over
there.
here,
Yeah,
and-
that one.
It's a system.
Uh-huh.
It's a disturbance number one. It's
Okay.
out there in the hot Atlantic.
That's like on our side.
It's on, but it's on northeast of the island chains out there.
Okay.
It is going to be kind of breaking up a little bit.
Okay.
And a portion of it is going to possibly form into something. There's a 30% chance that it'll form into something over the next 7 days.
Yikes.
That means there's a 70% chance it won't. So it's reaching areas that are not overly conducive right now. The islands, yes, conducive. Right where it probably is going to go for a while. It will move probably to the north of the Virgin Islands and north of Puerto Rico and Hispaniola.
Mhm.
Don't know where it's going to happen then. The southern portion of the Bahamas, the Bahama chain, which goes from off Florida
It
all the
does,
way
yeah.
down there to Cuba
Yeah.
area. It's flat.
Mhm.
So if it's got a 10 knot wind and 3 inches of rain, they got an issue.
Yeah, I
Because
agree
it's
with
flat.
that. Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
I mean, what,
I
what
agree.
else are you going to do?
Yeah.
Suffer through it. But anyway, it may or may not develop into anything significant. So we'll
Okay.
wait and see. We'll have to wait and see on
Well,
that
speaking of the Bahamas,
one. Uh-huh.
when I was a kid, and maybe these times have changed, the Bermuda Triangle was like a scary, you got the fear put in you when we talk about that. How come we never hear about the Bermuda Triangle anymore? Did it just kind of lose its lore or?
Oh no.
Okay. Well, why don't we?
It's there.
Well, why don't we ever hear
Things
stories?
are still disappearing. Well, if you have any idea
Wait a
how
minute.
many vessels that are
Wait a
like
minute.
sailing ships,
Ah.
sailing boats and stuff like that.
Do you remember
don't-
that
they just go
sea
away.
of
in that
unknown?
hurricane, that big cargo vessel that just kind of disappeared, or what? Was that in the Bermuda Triangle in the middle of that? Was that where that was?
That's probably Charlie.
Yeah. Because wasn't that near there? Y'all remember it? They lost the whole crew. They lost the ship. It was that giant. I don't know what you'd call it.
Mhm.
Container ship. Thank you. I knew it would
Yeah,
come
the
to
one
me.
of those big things.
I have a headache. Yeah.
All right, let's chat with Charlie very quickly here. Charlie, what's up?
Yeah, I don't know the first. I don't know the first thing about the Bermuda Triangle.
Why not?
Well, I don't know. You know, listen, it's just some area in the ocean where planes and boats.
Yeah.
and,
People like
you know,
disappear. Yeah.
Yeah, come on. Let's stop. Anyway, listen. I want to congratulate all of us. It is my opinion, because of my calls into your show and your guys' support and enthusiasm, Trump is the president of the United States of America.
So we can blame you for this?
Blame?
He's being facetious. Ignore him. He's
Aren't you
being
guys
facetious.
listen, let me ask you something. Going into this yesterday,
Yes.
watching the news, I'm listening to odd news. I'm like, oh, she's going to win. She's going to win. All these predictions. She's going to get it. She's going to get it.
Nope.
The same thing the media has done for the last 4 years. They're twisting something. They're like, oh, well, she's going to get it. She's going to get it. By the way, this is the first time I've voted in my entire life.
Yeah, well,
I wish-
congratulations. What took you so long?
Because I live in California, so I live in a state where my vote is counted by 1,000 votes. But a friend of mine called me and he goes, Charlie, we got to get her the popular. We got to get him, not her. Give me a break. I apologize. He needs to get the popular vote to prove that he's the best. He or she is the best candidate.
Mhm.
So that's why I voted.
Oh, good for
By
you.
the way, it's funny. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just saying, good for you. Thank you.
So thank you for my service.
Yeah, no, thank you for voting.
So here's funny. When I went, I'm not sure how you guys, when you vote, there was like this big technical process where there's like this 8x10 paper that you have to slide in to a slot.
Yeah.
And then it goes into the slot. Is that how yours is?
Yeah, that's just to make sure you know what you're doing. If you can't do that, then they eliminate you from voting ever.
So I got a kick out of this. So I had to answer all the local questions, all these different initiatives. I'm like, skip. Okay, I don't want Adam Schiff. I'll go for Steve Garvey. Skip. So when it came to the president, guess who was at the top of the list?
Kamala Harris.
Yes. And then it had, I think, Kennedy. It had some other random people I've never heard of. And then it had a portion of Trump's name at the bottom. And then it said, click this button for more. And I'm like, are you serious?
Really?
So, go ahead.
Is that the way it was in California?
Yes. I had half of his name, it said Trump, but Vance's name wasn't there. So you had to click on the more button to scroll up to get them. It
really?
I wanted to take a picture of it. It was such a scam. It's like they were deliberately hiding it. So I clicked the more button, and I clicked his name, but I'm just like, wait, why wasn't his name at least underneath Kamala Chameleon's Kamala Ayer's name?
Chameleon, it would be accurate.
So listen, guys. So did you have the same apprehension that I had, like 7-10 hours before this, that they're all saying that she's going to win?
Did I have any apprehensions
I
that
did.
she was going to win? Honestly, yeah. I did the math, and I love math. I did the math early on, and it did not look good for Donald Trump. And then the more she didn't talk, I started adding up in my head, because I assign numbers. I do math. I assign numbers to her credibility, her lack of performance. And then when I start adding things up, I didn't see a snowball's chance in hell that she could win, to be honest with you. But I went along with the plan. I did not play the political thing that the network reporters and commentators do. I don't do that. Not in advance. I will after the fact. I'll tell you. And well, last night I told because we stayed on until 1:00, 1:30 in the morning last night. You should have called.
Yeah, I was out of it. I would have called. So let me ask you this: I get a kick out of the show The View. You know those those really lovely.
I
you
hear
know
it.
those,
I've never watched
You know those
them.
open-hearted.
Yeah.
You know those open-hearted, kind, non-biased women. I can't wait to see what they're going to say today.
Yeah, that's going to be probably one of the most watched shows on TV today.
I think I'm going to stomach it, and I'm going to do it.
I'm not going to do it. Good God,
Mike's
my
trying
stomach's
to call.
not that strong.
You don't have a cast iron gun.
Well, I have to take another Nexium or two.
Here's the deal: they're going to have to accept that
No, they won't.
Hispanics, blacks, Jews,
Women.
Wait, did he get? Did Trump get the popular vote as well?
Yes.
Is that a fact?
Yes,
Did he really
it's a
get it?
fact. It's a fact, Jack. That's what happened.
So how are they going to spin that? They're going to go on there.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe they should change it from The View to The Spin. That would be a better choice for the title
Why
of that
don't they
show.
change it to "You're fired, all of you"?
Nah.
I love it. You know, hey, let me ask you a question, guys, real quickly. How much more illegal aliens do you think they're going to allow in the country before Trump gets in? Do you think they're
A
going to
lot.
keep? Because I heard there's a caravan of 30,000
Yeah,
on their way.
a lot of them are going to be there. Hopefully, the Border Patrol will not follow orders from headquarters, and they will just go ahead and keep them from getting across the border. That would be the smart way. If they get into the country, there's a problem. If you stop them at the border, keep them in Mexico.
Let me ask you this. I don't understand the hiring and the firing of Merrick Garland and then the Border Patrol. Once Trump gets into office, can he fire Merrick Garland and
Yes.
FBI people, or he can?
Yes. Serves at the pleasure of the president.
You know, some
So-
people are already packing up their offices right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Do you
like,
think Camilla's a little hungover? Do you think she's a little drunk? Do you
"Oh
think
yeah,
she's having a little bit too much
no
wine?
doubt."
I'm sure she's had her share overnight.
All right, guys, listen, I'm going to call in another time. I think we did a good job. I think it's because of my calls and your influence that we absolutely flipped the tables in the United States of America.
If
And I think we did a good job.
If that's
So
the
let's bring
case,
this up.
if that's the case, we need a raise.
All right, I'll talk to you guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, let me see.
Interesting.
Let me send this message.
We got a message.
Yes, the insurance commissioner's been trying to call.
He needs to call. Well,
He's going to call right now. I
the
just
solar
sent him
line was
another
open. He didn't
message.
call. We didn't get a call on it.
There he is.
No, that's maybe is that him?
That is him.
Congratulations, Mr. President. How are you?
Congratulations, Mike.
So good to hear your voice.
It's good to hear you.
Insurance Commissioner Mike Causey, you're back for another run.
Yeah, thank you. I want to thank everybody. We did very well in Onslow County, and in fact, all the coastal counties.
You did.
And we just had a tremendous turnout in early voting. I was happy to see that happen, and I just glad to have that opportunity, and thank everybody that got out and helped campaign for whatever candidate.
Yeah, well, I'm glad so many people turned out. It was great. That to me was enjoyable. I was watching the early voting because we had no idea how they were voting. Didn't care, to be honest with you. I just cared that they got out to vote. This way, we have a larger sampling. The larger the sampling, the more accurate the feelings of the population is. That's the way I look at it.
And yeah, it was a good night, but it was still a little surprising to me that with all the hype and the closeness of this election, that you still had a significant number of voters, somewhere between 25 to 30% of the voters that could have voted that didn't. And I was hoping it hit 80 or 85%, maybe 90% of the voters.
That's
and,
what I
I
said.
mean, there's always going to be that 10%, but it may have gotten closer to 75, but the last time I checked, it was right at 70 to 71% of the registered voters in the state that registered.
Yeah.
I was thinking we'd hit 6 million voters, but we didn't quite get there.
No, we did not. In Onslow County, disappointed me a little bit, though we had a significant turnout based upon history here in Onslow County. We still only got 60%.
Yeah.
That was a lot. That was 80,000 people, but that was still only 60%. Normal, but still only 60%.
Yeah, I would have thought that out of all years, if there ever was a year that people were going to vote, it'd be this year, because I met people that were, up in their 60s, 70s, 80s that had never voted.
Yep.
And said they're out to vote for the first time. So that was really encouraging.
We just talked to one who had never voted, but he voted for the first time this year.
Yes.
Charlie had never voted, right?
Right. That's what he said.
That's right. So we just got through with a caller who did exactly that. And he's on the West Coast.
Yeah,
he called
he's
from
in
California.
Gosh.
Well, see, there's a lot of new winners in the Council of State seats, Mike.
Well, yeah, there were so many open seats. That was one thing that, and I look forward to working with them all.
I'm sure.
And I think there's still 2 or 3 races that are too close to call, right?
Probably. There will be.
Several of them that were just...
Yeah, it was a lot of close races in North Carolina, a lot more close races than I thought. And I think perhaps that may have been because of all the revelations. I don't want to call it bad publicity. I just want to call it revelations that came out about our gubernatorial candidate, Mark Robinson. So much came out that I think that had an impact for other races.
Well, it no doubt did, and they always ask you what's your goal for the next 4 years and all that. I couldn't help but think of you, Rayford, and your alligator. I was thinking, well, I'm going to work with the legislature to make sure we got alligator insurance for southeastern North Carolina.
Well, why not? Those guys are crawling across the road. They're coming into people's backyards. They're crawling up on docks and sunning themselves where you walk around them to get to your boat. There are only golf courses all over eastern North Carolina. I mean, what are the chances? There are gators on golf courses all over southeastern North Carolina.
So you're saying we have an alligator problem?
We have if the people, because the state has authorized hunting of alligators, but people have to apply for that in their own counties, and nobody, not one person, with all the gators we have around here, has gone to the Onslow County Board of Commissioners to apply for a license.
Gosh.
Well, see, Rayford, you could be the first one and make history.
Yeah.
Good.
Well,
Lord.
they made the rules so weird about how you have to take them. It's like not even worthwhile, to be honest with you. But the gator gumbo is delicious. If y'all haven't ever had it.
I've never.
Well, I never have. I might need to try that sometime.
It's good. Memphis is a great place. Go to Beale Street. There's one place there that's delicious gator gumbo.
We need to ride up to Raleigh and take him some of your conch stew that you made.
You ever had conch chowder, Mike?
Conch chowder.
I never have. Like clam chowder, yes.
Well, this is kind of like clam chowder, but a lot smoother.
Yeah, it's very good.
It's a recipe that I concocted myself after dissecting a lot of bowls of conch chowder in the Caribbean, down in the Keys. I looked at all of it. I tore it apart, the parts that I liked, and then I kind of made notes, and I worked on it for a couple of years, and then I got it the way I want it, and I wrote the recipe down for one time in my life.
Well, so you could have your own restaurant. When you retire from radio, you could have the Rayford Brown Diner.
Yeah. Conchs are us. No, well, in fact, you should have been here. I should have invited you to come on down that time. Men Who Cook contest, sponsored by the Salvation Army here. For the last 2 years,
Oh,
they
yeah.
started one, and I entered it. Well, I did not enter it. My two co-hosts entered me for it last year and this year, and I won first place in both occasions. So,
Well, congratulations. What did you get? A blue ribbon?
well, got a blue ribbon and got a whole bunch of gifts and gift cards and all sorts of cool
Big
stuff.
old basket of stuff.
Yeah, a couple of them. So,
Well, you're just a man of many talents. I had no idea.
No, I conned everybody. I put some stuff in the pot that kind of made people vote my way.
Well, I grew a small amount of produce. I grew a lot of hot peppers.
Oh yeah,
because so many people like that, and that really adds flavor to that. Any of those dishes like that.
I've got let's see, I use sweet banana peppers. I use bell peppers, green bell peppers, and I use a hot version of jalapenos, the normal version, and then I've got a non-hot version that's just full of flavor of jalapenos, and I grow it in the backyard. So yes, I understand about the peppers. That makes it.
So what do you grow, Lee?
Well, this year was not successful. My tomatoes did not do well. My peppers were crazy, but I still didn't have much luck with the zucchini. The tomatoes, it was just an off year.
I was okay with tomatoes and peppers. The rest of the stuff kind of like fizzled.
I don't know what happened.
I don't know. I'm reevaluating. I'm gonna get our friend, dancing friend.
Oh yes, Meredith.
I'm gonna get Meredith to come by here. We're gonna have a chat.
Absolutely.
A backyard chat.
Yes. So, well, Mike,
call your county extension agent. They'll help you with all that.
Yes, we've had her on the show several times. Mm-hmm. Well, Mike, how are things going in the western part of North Carolina?
Well, they're still digging out. I talk to people almost every day that have lost homes, lost their businesses, and what's so sad about it? Most people are not covered by insurance because their homes, businesses were lost by floodings or mudslides. We've had a lot of homes that were destroyed by mudslides, and those are never covered under a homeowner's policy, and they're not always covered under flood policies. It's very difficult to get any claim paid with a mudslide, but I'll give you an example. There's a young couple, they bought a new double-wide home, and at the end of last year, at the end of December, and just moved in January 2024. And they had it all furnished with new furnishings, and they had two sons, and the boys were asleep in their bedrooms, and in the middle of the night, the whole mountains comes down on this house, and it was mud, but it was liquid mud. So it picks the house up off the foundation. It crushes the house to not totally, but it crushed one of the boys' bedrooms, and he escaped with just luckily with minor scratches. And the whole family was riding down a river of mud in their own house for maybe a tenth of a mile, quarter of a mile, something like that. And you can imagine the shock of experiencing something like that. And they all survived, but the house was a total loss, and all the furnishings were a total loss. And guess what? When they filed the insurance claim, because a homeowner's policy did not cover mudslides. So I went to Washington, D.C. last week on October 30th, and I met with the United States Treasury Department, FEMA, and I was with, it was a round table discussion for federal hurricane response. And we had the leaders of the banking industry, the North Carolina Bankers Association, state employees, credit union, major insurance companies, and there were two other commissioners. The commissioner of South Carolina, which they call it Director of Insurance, South Carolina Insurance Director, appointed by the governor, and the Insurance Commissioner of Florida. The three of us were there as the only commissioners. And I will say I was really pleased with the response. I can't take credit for it, but FEMA, the day we were there, decided to extend the filing deadline for FEMA assistance, disaster assistance, all the way to January 7th. And that's normally a 60-day window, which we're already about to hit that. And I learned some things also that the Small Business Administration pointed out that people think they have to own a business to apply for a interest-free loan or help with the Small Business Administration. But if your property or business or just your home is destroyed with flooding or any disaster, you can apply as a homeowner for FEMA assistance. And I know it's not a grant, they're loans, but there's zero interest for the first year and low interest for the subsequent years. And a lot of these people don't need to take on any more debt, but what they need is grants. But still, that's if you don't know where to turn, that's a good thing. So I was just happy to be part of that, and we're continuing to follow up with it and work with FEMA and the federal government and other agencies to get help to these folks in the western counties.
Well, I'm glad the other insurance folks, your counterparts in other areas are jumping on board this. Sometimes I worry about the bureaucrats, those up there that are making these laws that you have to interpret or you have to enforce, and you sometimes have to work around instead. I'm kind of tired of them.
Well, the thing about it, Rayford, is too much red tape.
Yes.
And people get frustrated. There are people that have applied for FEMA. So that, for example, the family that lost their home in the mudslide, I asked, have you applied for FEMA assistance? And they did this way back when the damage first happened, and they still not heard back. And you know, that waiting game is what's so painful. And a lot of times it's it may not be anybody's fault because maybe they have 150,000 applications or something, and they don't have the personnel to go through all this in a timely manner. And that's what we saw. We've been on the ground every day. We've had victims assistance centers up there, and we go from county to county to help consumers. We've had insurance camps, or some folks call them insurance villages, where we partner with Lowe's home improvement stores. Lowe's lets us use their parking lots. We bring in the major insurance companies from all over the United States. They set up their tents. They bring in their claims center vehicles, and FEMA's side by side with the Department of Insurance. And we saw all these people come out, stand in line to meet with FEMA, but only had 2 or 3 people that could actually take the applications. And you know, the need is for much more, but that's all they had. So
Wow.
You know, you got to work around what you got, but I've never seen any more outpouring of support from the public. We've got volunteers from not only all over North Carolina, but all over the United States. And a lot of our first responders, these different fire departments, are going up there, and they're staying 7 days at a time away from their homes and families. So I can't say enough good things about all the charities like Samaritan's Purse, Baptist on Mission, Salvation Army, disaster response teams. All of those folks are just doing great work.
Yeah, they are. Tons of great stories coming from the western part of North Carolina. And now we have a hurricane down there approaching it's in the Caribbean, approaching the Gulf Coast. In case you haven't checked on it.
When you see all the devastation up there, we had 13,000 farms. They lost all their crops. There's a lot of livestock that was wiped out.
Yeah.
They're drowned. There's all sorts, cattle, pigs, chickens, you name it, and household pets that are gone. So this is a shock that these folks, some may never recover from it, but it'll take a long time for most of them to recover. It's not a matter of weeks; it's months and years in some cases.
Yeah. Michael, congratulations, sir,
Yes,
again.
congratulations.
And
Thank you all for what you do, and you've got a great audience. And I know, as I said many times before, nobody ever has a problem with insurance claims, but if you do, call me. Call the Department of Insurance.
I got
We're
you.
here to help.
I got your
Yes.
number on speed dial.
Yes.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you, Lee.
All
Thank you,
right.
Rayford.
We'll take a break now.
Take care.
All right. See you.
Go sit
Now,
down.
gotta get to work. Gotta get to work.
Yeah,
See
take,
ya.
take a chill pill for a little bit.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
Lee,
I'm taking a nap.
let's see. Starting yesterday morning, 2 hours earlier, at 7 o'clock yesterday morning. That's 2, that's 4, and 6 do we add? That's over 10 hours in the last 24 hours. We've been over on the radio.
Well, I
You and
think,
me.
yes. Well, yesterday afternoon I thought about, let me just lay down and take a little bit of a nap.
Uh-huh.
And the phone kept ringing and ringing and ringing with people like, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? And,
Somebody's going to win. Somebody's going to lose. Goodbye.
and so then I got here last night and we
More
just
polite
got
than I am.
on a roll with this
We
yesterday.
did, and we do
last
appreciate
night.
the callers. And Pete
We
stayed
had
on the phone with
great
us last night,
callers.
early morning. It wasn't
Yes.
late; it was a very early morning.
And we
And-
had people that stuck with us until we signed off.
We watched all the way through it. So
Yes.
we do appreciate all of y'all. And I just placed an order for another box. So in the first of the week, we're going to have both lines operating at the same time, y'all.
Hallelujah,
Again,
hallelujah.
finally.
Yes.
Finally.
It's all coming around.
Yeah, so we'll get back there. Now I got to start working on software, but I'm not going to probably do it today because right now, all of these little icons that I got up here on this screen,
Uh-huh.
they're looking like one big blob of blur.
I understand.
And I got other things to
exactly.
do today. Still.
Well, I somewhere between yesterday and this morning, I tore my house up. I don't know what happened. So I've got to go home and make a path, put things away, then take a nap.
You take a nap.
Take a
All
nap.
right. We will see you tomorrow morning, guys. Y'all be safe out there and have a good day, good rest of your day.
Yes.
And, for those who were staunch supporters of the opposite people, whatever race it was, it's okay. You have survived other issues, whether
Right.
your candidate won or lost. And just because a candidate and even your candidate won does not mean it's the perfect situation in the world. There's still a lot of work to be done. They do not work alone. They have other agencies. They have other people.
Mm-hmm.
They are not standalone. The president cannot do a dang gum thing all by himself. He can't do it to us or for us all by himself.
He's going to start picking a cabinet now.
He better start working on something.
Yeah.
And
I hope he does
Actually-
better than what he did the last time.
I hope he's a lot smarter this go round.
Right.
Yeah, did I say that? He did it to
Well-
himself last time. I'm sorry.
He relied on a lot of other people. I mean, you've got.
He was an inexperienced politician.
Right.
Got that, number one. He got elected because he was able to sell himself better.
Right.
I hope he's got some lessons under his belt. Those 4 years, I hope he learned something.
And looking at some of the comments on social media this morning, especially with some local people that I know that are still under the assumption about Project 2025, about Medicaid. And if you go research all that stuff, you're going to find out that what you were told is not fact.
No,
It's not fact.
and if you think that he's going to get in there, Donald Trump, if you think for just a split second that Donald Trump is going to be it's going to be smooth sailing after January 20th. No, it's not.
I just want to see grocery prices come
We got-
down.
It took
I'm
249 years to get to where we are. 249, is that right? It took 200 and almost 50 years to get to where we are. Bumps, a lot of bumps.
Well, Elon Musk is now taking bids for anybody who'd like to go on a flight.
That will not be me, and I won't even take. You can't even pay me to do that. Not
Yeah.
going to happen.
For
Jack.
those of you that didn't believe in Elon, he's like, hey, I've got a free seat.
A free seat?
Come on, where you want to fly to?
No, no. I don't even want to fly in a helicopter from here to New Bern again, ever.
It's a joke.
Okay.
Robert.
We will see you tomorrow morning, and
Tomorrow morning.
be safe out there, and get a little bit of rest if you were as worked up as some of the other people around
Chris
here.
Miller, sports editor with JD News, Jacksonville Daily News, will be on tomorrow, and maybe he'll have some news about the schedule for the
We don't
playoffs.
know what the ideas are. We don't know when it's going to happen.
I know it's supposed to come out the 10th, but maybe he's got a hint.
Yeah, you never can tell.
That's right.
Have a great rest of your day. Stay safe.
Right.
We'll see you tomorrow morning.